I finally get around to checking out one of my most anticipated movies of the year, that being Karate Kid Legends. This is the next chapter within the Karate Kid uh, universe. Cobra Kai just ended not too long ago, but this is picking up 3 years prior to Cobra Kai. But I think going into this movie, this isn't going to be what people expect what this movie to be about. Certainly, I didn't expect certain things to kind of play out in this movie. And I could see that being some people's negatives, because I've seen a lot of just like kind of mixed things about this movie. Some people think this movie is terrible or it's just really disappointing. I can kind of see why that is, because on one hand, this movie kind of throws you into a whole new chapter with the Karate Kid. Like, I know there's speculation that this was going to tie in somehow into Cobra Kai, and I'm here to say, like, you know, you got to kind of manage your expectations with that. And I can see that being very disappointing, because this first half of this movie, or like a good majority of this movie, you don't see Daniel LaRusso or a lot of Jackie Chan's character, Mr. Han. You do kind of get this kind of recap of, you know, the Hans and Miyagi just having this history with their families, which I would have to say that is also one of the weaker story plots, because like they could have just kind of done more with the backstory between the Hans and Miyagi. Maybe they'll dive more into that in future movies, because it seemed like this movie, what it kind of suffers from is setting up a lot of interesting ideas, but it's very frustrating at times, because you're thinking like, oh man, this should connect with this, or they could tie this story into this Cobra Kai character. But I understand what they were going for with this movie, because we see our main character, Lee, he moves from Beijing to New York. And what I do like about this movie is, you know, we do see a completely different version of what we see in California with the All Valley tournament. They have these like 5 boroughs that kind of duke it out, and that whole aspect was really kind of rushed. We see this other subplot of Lee with his main love interest, Mia. She and her father kind of run this restaurant, and somehow Lee is training her father to get ready for this fight. And they spend a lot more time developing that, more than when Daniel kind of comes into the story. It almost feels like he doesn't come in until like the end of the movie. And the movie is so quick, it's only like an hour and a half. So they kind of just speed through certain things, and even getting to the tournament, there's not a lot of just build up with a lot of characters outside of Lee and Mia and her family. Like, I feel like that got a lot of screen time that felt more organic than when we finally get the introduction of Han and Daniel training Lee. And Lee is already nice. He's nice with Kung Fu. It's just that like he needs to learn karate at the same time more, just kind of tighten up his techniques. Now, power scaling wise, he might be better than Robbie or Miguel. That's kind of hard to say, because probably Robbie and Miguel are a completely different beast at this time in the Cobra Kai universe. But I definitely see them setting up the foundation with this movie, and I think they could definitely improve with like just to kind of tighten up on the stories and tighten up on these characters a bit, because I feel like that's where it really lacks, is its character development. And also the directions are kind of weird. The editing is choppy a lot of times. I think that's another issue. So there's definitely flaws with this movie, but there's definitely some potential here to do something crazy, maybe bring in some people from Cobra Kai. But there are people that do pop up from Cobra Kai in this movie, which is interesting. I feel like they could have done more with Daniel's character as a whole. I feel like his whole relationship with Lee doesn't really make sense. Like, it kind of just felt very forced. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I disappointed with this movie? No, because I think from the action standpoint, I think this is some of the cleanest action we've gotten in a Karate Kid movie. The story is pretty weak. The villain, Connor, he kind of reminds me of like a young Silver, just for like Lee. And I could definitely see them setting something up with his character, because he was very, very one-dimensional, just a very jealous character. Not too much to him. Like I said, like a lot of characters kind of suffer and get the backseat treatment for other things, which doesn't kind of make sense. And maybe this movie should have been clocked in almost at like 2 hours to kind of flesh certain things out. Actually kind of build up to this tournament, because I just think that's another one of its issues, is its pacing and just how it develops its characters. Overall, still entertaining. Is it a good follow-up to Cobra Kai? I would say just separate those two, because this is definitely a start of something completely new. But I could definitely see this not being for everybody, for sure. If you're a diehard Karate Kid fan, it is kind of missing that Karate Kid kind of spirit to it. But let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.